If you're over 60 and you're watching this right now, I need you to understand something critical about your heart. Most people think heart attacks happen with warning. Chest pain, difficulty breathing, a sudden collapse. That's what we see in the movies. That's what most of us expect. But the reality after 60 is very different. The most dangerous cardiac events happen silently. They develop while you're sleeping. No warning, no symptoms you can feel, no time to call for help. And here's what matters most. These events are almost always preventable. They're triggered by habits. Ordinary, everyday habits that millions of people repeat every single night without understanding the danger. Your heart doesn't take a break when you fall asleep. It shifts into a different mode, a more vulnerable mode. In a healthy younger body, nighttime is when blood pressure naturally drops by about 10 to 20%. Your heart rate slows, your arteries relax. It's a biological reset. A maintenance cycle your body has performed your entire life. But after 60, this system becomes less reliable. Your blood vessels stiffen. Your blood pressure regulation becomes less precise. The protective hormonal signals that once guarded your heart during sleep begin to weaken. The margin for error shrinks dramatically. Think of it this way. During the day, your cardiovascular system has backup mechanisms. It can compensate. It can adapt. At night, especially after 60, many of those protective systems are essentially offline. Your heart is operating on minimal backup. That's why the hours between midnight and 6 in the morning carry the highest cardiac risk for people over 60. Not the afternoon, not during your active day, the quiet hours, the vulnerable hours, the hours when your habits matter most. Let me explain what happens inside your body during the hours when you're most at risk. Most of you eat dinner sometime between 5 and 9 in the evening. Think about when you typically eat your main meal. Whatever time that is, that's important information for your heart. When you consume a large meal, your digestive system demands a tremendous surge in blood flow. Your body redirects circulation toward your stomach and intestines to process the food. Your heart has to pump harder to meet that demand. Your blood pressure rises. This is not a gentle increase. This is a real physiological stress. Your triglycerides, the fats circulating in your bloodstream, spike sharply within 2 to 4 hours after eating. If that meal is heavy, fried, fatty, or large in portion size, that spike is even more pronounced. Your heart is now working in overdrive. It's processing a major digestive load. But at the same time, your body is supposed to be shifting into sleep mode. Your nervous system should be calming down. Your metabolism should be slowing. Your blood pressure should be dropping. So what happens? A direct conflict. Your cardiovascular system is being stressed by digestion while simultaneously being signaled to rest and recover. Those two demands contradict each other. For someone under 45, the body usually compensates well. Your cardiovascular system is flexible enough to handle both demands. But after 60, especially if you have any degree of arterial stiffness or plaque buildup, this conflict creates real danger. Your arteries can't adapt as easily. Your heart can't manage the competing demands as smoothly. The stress accumulates. Now add another factor. If you eat dinner at 8 or 9 o'clock, then go to bed by 10 or 11, you're sleeping while your digestive system is still working intensely. If your blood pressure is elevated, your heart rate is higher than it should be during sleep. Your body never gets the true cardiovascular rest it needs. Research is very clear on this. Studies consistently show that eating within 2 to 3 hours before sleep is associated with several concerning changes. Elevated nighttime blood pressure, higher incidence of acid reflux, which can actually mimic cardiac symptoms or trigger them. And most importantly, increased risk of cardiovascular events during sleep. The solution is straightforward. Finish your main meal by 6 or 7 in the evening whenever possible. Not a special diet, not restriction, just timing. A regular, balanced meal at an earlier hour. This gives your digestive system 3 to 4 hours to process the food before you lie down. Your blood pressure will be back to normal levels when you sleep. Your heart won't be stressed by the conflict between digestion and sleep mode. Now, there's a second factor that makes the nighttime hours even more dangerous for your heart. And most people over 60 have never heard of it or understood it. Blood pressure medication timing. Think about when you take your blood pressure medication. Do you take it in the morning? With breakfast, that's what most people do. It feels natural. You establish it as part of your morning routine. If you take it when you think of it, but from a cardiovascular perspective, especially after 60, that timing might be leaving you completely unprotected during your most vulnerable hours. Your blood pressure follows a predictable pattern throughout the day. It rises when you wake up, it peaks during the afternoon, it drops at night. In a healthy body, you experience what we call a normal dipping pattern. Your nighttime blood pressure drops 10 to 20% below your daytime levels. That dip is crucial. It's when your arteries rest. It's when your heart isn't working as hard. It's when your cardiovascular system recovers. But here's the problem. A significant percentage of people over 60 never experience that normal dipping pattern. They have what's called nocturnal hypertension. Their blood pressure stays elevated all night, or it actually surges during the early morning hours, usually between 3 and 6 in the morning. Many of these people have no idea this is happening. They check their blood pressure during the day. The numbers look fine. They assume their blood pressure is controlled, but at night, when their heart needs protection most, they have dangerous elevation. Why? Because their blood pressure medication from the morning has worn off. There's no active medication working during the nighttime hours. If you take your medication at 7 in the morning, by 10 at night, much of it is already metabolized and cleared from your system. So when your body naturally tries to lower blood pressure at night, that process might not work properly. And if blood pressure does spike in the early morning, there's no medication actively working to prevent it. Now consider what happens when blood pressure surges during sleep. Your arteries are not prepared for sudden pressure changes during sleep. Your body is at rest, your heart rate is slow. Your arteries are in a relaxed state. Suddenly, blood pressure spikes. That surge can rupture vulnerable plaque inside a coronary artery. It can trigger the formation of a dangerous blood clot. It can cause an arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat. It can lead to a heart attack or stroke while you're completely unaware. This is the mechanism. This is how prevention starts. There is strong clinical evidence, including findings from major trials, showing that taking blood pressure medication in the evening can significantly reduce cardiovascular risk during sleep. Specifically, evening dosing provides protection during the exact hours when your risk is highest. Yet most people over 60 have never had this conversation with their doctor. They've never been told. They don't know to ask. So they remain unprotected. The solution is simple but critical. Talk to your doctor specifically about the timing of your blood pressure medication. Ask whether taking it in the evening instead of the morning would be appropriate for you. That conversation takes 2 minutes, but the impact could be enormous. Before you make any changes to your medication schedule, you must consult your physician. This is not something to decide on your own, but do have the conversation. Do ask the question, because your doctor might agree that evening dosing would provide better protection. Now let's talk about a condition that affects more than 30% of people over 60. Most of them have no idea, and almost nobody understands how dangerous it is for your heart. Sleep apnea. If you snore, pay close attention. If someone has told you that you stop breathing while you sleep, listen carefully. Sleep apnea is a condition where your airway partially or completely closes during sleep. Your body stops breathing for several seconds, sometimes for 30 seconds or longer. It might happen 10 times per hour. It might happen 50 times per hour. Each time it happens, oxygen levels in your blood drop. Your brain detects the oxygen drop as a crisis. It activates an emergency stress response. Adrenaline floods your system. Your heart rate suddenly accelerates. Your blood pressure spikes. Your body is jolted into a stress response while you're supposed to be sleeping. Then your airway opens again. You gasp and breathing resumes. Your body relaxes briefly. Then minutes later, the same thing happens again and again, all night long. Consider what this does to your cardiovascular system. If you have 30 apnea episodes per hour, your heart is being jolted awake 30 times per night. 30 times your blood pressure surges. 30 times your heart rate spikes. 30 times your body releases stress hormones. That's not normal. That's not just an annoyance. That's acute repeated cardiovascular stress applied night after night, year after year. The research on sleep apnea and heart disease is sobering. People with sleep apnea have 3 times the risk of heart attack compared to people without it. 3 times. They're also at significantly higher risk for atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that dramatically increases stroke risk. Sleep apnea accelerates the stiffening and thickening of arterial walls. It contributes to high blood pressure. It causes inflammation throughout your cardiovascular system. And because all of this happens while you sleep, most people have absolutely no idea their heart is under stress. The warning signs are often overlooked: loud snoring, gasping or choking sensations while waking, waking up exhausted despite getting 8 hours of sleep, morning headaches, frequent urination during the night, waking with a dry mouth. These symptoms don't feel like heart problems, so people ignore them or they accept them as part of aging. They never connect the snoring to cardiac risk. They never know they need evaluation. But this is critical. If you're over 60 and you snore, you need to be evaluated for sleep apnea. Not eventually. Not when you feel ready. You need to be evaluated. This is not optional if you have risk factors for heart disease. A sleep study is simple. You can often do it at home, you get answers. And if you do have sleep apnea, treatment is straightforward. Usually a CPAP device, you wear a mask while you sleep. The device delivers pressurized air that keeps your airway open. It takes adjustment. But the cardiovascular benefits are remarkable. Patients who consistently use CPAP therapy experience measurable reductions in blood pressure, lower rates of irregular heartbeats, significantly reduced cardiovascular risk. One device, one habit, massive protection for your heart. So if you snore, if you wake up gasping, if anyone has told you that you stop breathing during sleep, talk to your doctor this week about getting evaluated. This could be life-saving. There's another critical factor that creates danger during sleep, and most people don't even think about it. Hydration. Specifically, dehydration before sleep. Many people over 60 intentionally reduce how much they drink in the evening. The logic makes sense. They want to avoid waking up at 2 in the morning to use the bathroom. Interrupted sleep is frustrating. Getting out of bed multiple times increases the risk of falling. So they stop drinking fluids after dinner. Some stop by mid-afternoon. They want to be dry by bedtime. I understand the thinking, but from a cardiac perspective, going to bed dehydrated is a significant risk factor. Here's what happens inside your body. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes more viscous, it gets thicker. Think of the difference between pouring water and pouring honey. Water flows easily. Honey is thick and moves slowly. Your blood in a dehydrated state behaves more like honey. It doesn't flow through your vessels as easily. For a younger person, this is usually manageable. Your cardiovascular system compensates. But for someone over 60 with stiffened arteries and plaque buildup, thicker blood moving through narrowed passages is dangerous. Blood flow slows, clotting risk increases, and here's where the timing becomes critical. During sleep, several things happen to your circulation. Your heart rate naturally slows. Blood flow slows throughout your body. You're lying motionless for 7 or 8 hours. Movement helps circulation. When you're still, blood naturally moves more slowly. Now combine all of these factors. You go to bed dehydrated, your blood is thicker, your heart rate is slower during sleep, your circulation is naturally slower, you're lying still for hours. Your arteries may already be partially blocked with plaque. That combination creates ideal conditions for blood clots. That's one mechanism for how heart attacks happen during sleep. The blood clot forms while you're unaware. By the time you wake up, if you wake up, it may be too late. Solution is remarkably simple. Drink 1 glass of water before going to bed. Not a huge amount, just 8 ounces. That's enough to help prevent your blood from becoming unnecessarily thick overnight. Keep another glass on your bedside table. If you wake up during the night feeling slightly thirsty, listen to that signal. Your body is telling you something your heart needs. You don't have to choose between good sleep and protecting your cardiovascular health. You can have both. Single glass of water costs nothing and provides real protection. Now let's talk about something that affects your heart health, but most people never consider. Bedroom temperature. When was the last time you thought about how temperature affects your cardiovascular system? Most people think about bedroom temperature in terms of comfort, personal preference, but your heart actually performs best within a specific temperature range. Outside that range, your heart works much harder than it should. Let's start with a bedroom that's too warm. If your bedroom temperature is above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, your body has to work continuously throughout the night to release excess heat. Your blood vessels dilate, opening wider to allow more blood flow to your skin for cooling. Your heart rate remains elevated to facilitate that increased circulation. You sweat more, which increases fluid loss and brings you right back to the dehydration problem we just discussed. Beyond that, your sleep quality declines. You spend less time in the deep restorative stages of sleep. Those stages are critical. That's when your heart does its most important overnight repair and recovery. Without deep sleep, your heart doesn't get the restoration it needs. So you're stressed by heat, you're losing fluids, and your heart isn't getting restorative sleep. That's a triple hit to your cardiovascular system. Now consider the opposite extreme. A bedroom that's too cold, below about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That creates different cardiovascular stress. Cold temperatures cause vasoconstriction. Your blood vessels constrict to preserve your body's core temperature. As they tighten, your blood pressure rises. Your heart has to pump against greater resistance. For someone with coronary artery disease or high blood pressure, that increase in nighttime blood pressure is significant. It stresses your heart. The optimal bedroom temperature for both quality sleep and cardiovascular protection is between 65 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Within that range, your body remains in what's called a thermally neutral state. Your blood vessels stay relaxed. Your heart rate remains low and steady. Your sleep is deep and restorative. Your heart gets the conditions it needs to recover. One simple thermostat adjustment, real protection for your heart. If you don't know your bedroom temperature, check it this week. Get a basic thermometer, measure it before you sleep. If it's above 72, lower it. If it's below 65, raise it. Keep it in the optimal range. This is one of the easiest changes you can make. So now you understand 5 critical factors that affect your heart during sleep. Late meals that stress your cardiovascular system right before sleep. Blood pressure medication timing that might leave you unprotected during vulnerable hours. Sleep apnea causing repeated blood pressure spikes and stress hormone surges. Dehydration making your blood thicker and clotting more likely. And bedroom temperature affecting both sleep quality and cardiovascular function. These aren't rare factors. These aren't exotic risks. These are ordinary everyday habits that millions of people repeat night after night. Each habit alone creates some risk. Combined, they create significant danger. The question is what you're going to do about it. I'm going to be direct because this matters. The habits that put your heart at risk during sleep are changeable. You can reduce your cardiovascular risk starting tonight. This is your action plan. I want you to actually consider implementing these changes. Action 1. Timing of meals. Finish your main meal by 6 or 7 in the evening whenever possible. Not an extreme diet, not fasting, not skipping meals, just eating your regular dinner at an earlier hour. If you need to eat later, keep it light. Lean protein, vegetables. Avoid heavy, fatty, fried foods in the evening. This simple change gives your heart hours to complete digestion before you sleep. Your blood pressure will be lower when you lie down. Your heart won't be in conflict between processing food and transitioning into sleep mode. Action 2. Medication timing. This is critical. Talk to your doctor specifically about the timing of your blood pressure medication. Ask whether taking it in the evening instead of the morning would provide better protection for you. That conversation takes 2 minutes. But the science is clear. Evening dosing can provide significantly greater cardiovascular protection during sleep. This is one of the most important conversations you can have with your doctor, but many people never ask. Don't be one of them. Before you change anything about your medications, you must consult your physician. But do have the conversation this week. Action 3. Sleep apnea screening. If you snore, wake up gasping, or if anyone has told you that you stop breathing during sleep, schedule an evaluation for sleep apnea. This is essential after 60 if you have any cardiac risk factors. Sleep study is simple. Usually done at home. If you're diagnosed with sleep apnea, treatment is straightforward. CPAP therapy. Consistent use of a CPAP device provides remarkable cardiovascular benefits. Lower blood pressure, reduced irregular heartbeats, significantly decreased heart attack and stroke risk. Make this appointment. Don't delay. This could be life-saving. Action 4. Evening hydration. Drink 1 full glass of water before going to bed. Just 8 ounces. It's enough to prevent your blood from becoming unnecessarily thick during sleep. Keep another glass on your bedside table. If you wake up thirsty at 2 in the morning, that's your body asking for something your heart needs. If you can sleep well and protect your cardiovascular health at the same time. These don't have to be competing goals. Action 5. Bedroom temperature. Keep your bedroom between 65 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Get a thermometer. Check your current temperature this week. Adjust your thermostat if needed. This one change promotes deep, restorative sleep and protects your cardiovascular function. It costs nothing. It takes minutes to implement. But the benefit is real. So you have 5 specific actionable changes. dinner timing, medication timing, sleep apnea screening, evening hydration, bedroom temperature. None of these require a gym membership. None require special supplements. None require dramatic lifestyle changes. They're practical adjustments to your evening routine that directly protect your heart during the most vulnerable hours. Let me be clear about something. Cardiovascular health during sleep is complex. What I've shared with you today is general medical information based on research and clinical experience. It is not a substitute for personalized medical care from your own physician. Before making any changes to your medications, especially the timing of blood pressure medication, you must talk to your doctor. That's not just a legal disclaimer, that's sincere advice. Your heart is individual. Your medications are prescribed specifically for you. Changes should be made under medical guidance, but please have these conversations with your doctor. Ask the questions, explore these changes, because the evidence shows they matter. I also want to say this directly. Heart attacks and strokes don't always announce themselves. They don't always give you. They often happen during sleep, during the quiet hours, during the hours when your heart is most vulnerable. And the factors that trigger these events are usually preventable. They're usually modifiable. They're usually habits you can change. So please, don't wait. Don't tell yourself you'll make these changes next week or next month. Start tonight. Change your dinner time if you can. Put a glass of water on your bedside table. Check your bedroom temperature. Make an appointment with your doctor to discuss your blood pressure medication timing. Ask about sleep apnea screening if you snore. These are not dramatic changes, but they're real changes. They matter. They protect your heart. Your cardiovascular system has been working faithfully for you every minute of every day, every night, throughout your entire life. It deserves the conditions it needs to keep working for many more years to come. Starting tonight, give it that. If this video helped you, please like it. Subscribe to this channel. Share it with someone over 60. Because there are millions of people who've never heard this information. They're repeating dangerous habits every night without understanding the risk. You might be the person who gives them this information. You might be the person who changes their life. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Protect your heart. Sleep well tonight.